Welcome to our first golf meeting for 2026, and we appreciate all you coming for the attending with us today. Approval of the November 12th minutes of the meeting. Siri? Second? Any corrections, additions? You can remember that long? Okay. All those accepting? We do have a proxy. John has Brad Lawrence's proxy, unless he's on. We don't know if he's on yet or not, so he's not going to make it on. Okay, so you have his proxy. Thank you, John. Okay, we have a special Futures Cup presentation.
Well, on behalf of the 84 golfers and I, who helped sponsor the Futures Cup Golf Tournament in our 6th one, and we started with 24 guys in the first year. I think we donated $2,000 in that first year. So there's a lot of people I want to thank, and Hannah is going to be certainly one of them. But I want to thank Daryl Muldoon for having the vision to start a Futures Golf Academy, which is doing wonderful things for kids in the community. We were able to not only, donate a lot of money, but we also donated scholarships to four very outstanding young people. I mean, outstanding. And so we were able to give out some scholarship money this year as well. Plus, a lot of the guys that played in this also played in the AJGA tournament. We were able to raise an additional $2,000 from the AJGA tournament. So our total contribution for the year is $10,000, and I would like to present this to Hannah on behalf of the Futures Cup Golf Tournament. This goes to the Futures Golf Academy, and I know you're going to spend the money well, and we're going to really that's why we call it the Futures Cup, because it's all about the future of golf in Bella Vista. We want to pay it forward, and I want to thank all the guys that play in this tournament on a yearly basis and look forward to it. But I especially want to thank Megan Vaughn, who helped me this year with some coordination. And I really want to thank both of our captains, Bob Walpert, but especially Charlie Powell. I could not run the tournament without Charlie's help. We call him Mr. Spreadsheets because he's unbelievable with the Excel spreadsheet. I don't know how he does it, but he keeps it all organized, and I really couldn't run this tournament without him. So on behalf of all of us, and to Hannah, I say to you, thank you so much for what you're doing with the Futures Golf Academy, and I would love to hear maybe a few words from you on what this money might be going toward.
It's actually going to go to my trip to Aruba.
Wait a minute.
So thank you so much, everybody, for supporting the Futures Academy. We really appreciate it. Really looking forward to another great season. We will be offering a lot of the same classes that we saw last year. So we're going to have the Toddlers and Tees program. We'll have our Intro to Golf. We'll have Operation 36. And then we're also going to be doing a PGA Junior League event where we host all of the clubs from the area in a one big day event. So we're hoping to use some of the Academy money for a nice tee gift to help kind of cover some of those costs that we incur to host such a big event for all of the community. We'll also be using the money again to do scholarships, and we'll also be using for the ambassador program to go towards some of our superstars that are in our community. Yeah.
All right, I just want to jump in one thing, and I want to congratulate Hannah. She joined us a couple years ago, and her vision's been awesome as we're going, and she's going into teaching and running this academy, as it's a lot of work. But one of the big things I want to do is she had to convert her Canadian PGA, go back to school because they had to further educate you to become a US PGA Class A, and got that this month. So congratulations, Hannah.
Thank you.
On behalf of the entire golfing community, We appreciate everybody who was involved in this, and to bring up the kids, and their parents are very appreciative of it. And I cannot thank you all enough, having worked with young people and getting started in golf, because that's our future.
Yeah.
And it's important that we start them right, and you guys have done a great job of leading them in the right direction, so we appreciate.
Thank you, Ruth. Yep, and I just wanted to say as well, we're gonna be purchasing more golf equipment so that kids that come and use our facility will have clubs that are for them, and they're all size coordinated as well, which is gonna be good. And if they come to class and they don't have equipment, we will be able to provide them with equipment.
Good.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Hannah. And I just want to add, in addition to teaching them the game of golf, one of our passions in this whole project is to not only teach them golf, but to teach them etiquette, to teach them sportsmanship. And we are developing great citizens, and not just great golfers. And I think it's a worthy cause. I'm proud to be a part of it. I'm proud to have put a stamp on this in Bella Vista. It's kind of a legacy moving forward that, you know, again, but I stand on the shoulders of a lot of other people that have helped, and I'm really proud to sponsor it. I'm proud to be a part of it, and we're looking forward to it's third weekend of October, so it's on the official calendar now, and we have limited spots open because we invite everybody back who's already played in it, but if you're interested, you might want to think about playing in our tournament this coming year. All right, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, golf facility report, we've suspended those until April, will be the next official one, but please remember that if you're going to play on the golf courses or out at the golf courses and you see something that you think needs to be checked, please report it, and please go to the proper authority so it can be reported ahead of time without even bringing it here if you can do so. We appreciate that. Graham, we're going to start with you.
All right, so as you guys are probably aware, we discontinued the frost line moving forward, and the reason being is, and basically what we've done is forward everyone to today's play, and what we're trying to do is allow the superintendents to be able to make the decision that's right for their golf course rather than for the community as a whole. You know, we have 30-mile stretches between maybe our two furthest points, and there's certainly a microclimate situation that can arise, and if we're trying to open all the golf courses at one time, we might be losing out on potentially some tee time. So that was one thing that we've changed just in the last couple of weeks.
I'm going to jump on that. In the past was one unified blanket. We found out, Graham and I visiting and everything in the different microclimates, that if I can get a frost delay off 30 minutes earlier out on the golf course, what helps is the turnaround time. It helps all our golf professionals out when they come around and they've got 3 holes to finish, or 4 holes or 5 holes. It just helps. So it makes perfect sense to do it. So we encourage the membership to just go to today's play. It is updated by that location superintendent, and that's massive. I think this is a great step moving forward, just to help the players and the customers out as well.
I agree. We got 8 inches of snow, 2 weeks ago, and that was right ahead of a pretty severe cold snap. So, you know, if it's anything like the year prior, it's going to help us a lot. We were kind of monitoring some soil temperatures throughout that, and we definitely feel like the snow is going to help. With that said, we did tarp, obviously all of the Bermuda grass greens. There were some Bermuda grass tees we tarped, some ones that we know have had winter kill issues in the past prior to that cold snap, but we'll certainly be in a wait and see approach as we get into spring, although, you know, we're hopeful that we have minimal winter kill on our Bermuda grass. We've made our second applications of turf paint on all our Bermuda grass tees and fairways, collars and approaches, except for Country Club, which we're working on, and Reed expects to be done potentially tomorrow if the conditions are right to finish that. We're going to begin our spring pre-emergent weed applications for spring and summer weeds in the month of February, and so that'll be completed this month. So over the winter, we've been really working on limbing up trees, removing dead trees on all our properties, getting those stumps ground. We've mulched. We've done a lot of mulch. We have a huge supply of mulch from the storm in summer of 2024 over at the Scottsdale overflow parking area, and so we've got a huge supply of it. So not only are we mulching what we've traditionally mulched, we're also making new beds in areas. So we're trying to beautify your golf courses this winter in areas, and we are continuing to clean and repaint all our course accessory items, ball washers, tee markers, all of those things, our yardage stakes. One thing we are looking into from this snow event that we noticed was, and this was apparently a new thing. I didn't notice it last year. No one's ever seen it before, but vehicles parking over by number 8 green on Country Club and then sledding down that hill. And there was kind of a parking lot there for several days in a row. So what we're gonna look at doing is potentially adding some large boulders along the road there. That is an emergency access area, so we're gonna have to get with the fire department and see. But place boulders there where cars cannot turn that into a parking lot again in the future. So that's one thing that we're gonna be looking at, hopefully sooner than later, and we'll have something done there. Capital project update, 13 Country Club, all that work's been done, the ryegrass is established, and we really can't do anything more until it warms up just a little bit more. We'll sod that as soon as it's time, hopefully in early April. Another capital item that we are working on right now is failing culvert pipes that are running through Kingswood. So what was happening there is those were galvanized steel pipes, and maybe 40 years old or however old they were rusting holes in it, and then soil was migrating into the pipe, kind of causing these depressed areas, almost a sinkhole type situation popping up. So Shane is, and that was on number 8, 9, 10, and 11. So Shane's already got 10 and 11 replaced. He's almost done with 9. 8 should be done by end of next week with the weather we have forecasted. So that should be moving along really nice and finished very soon. The greens fans on Kingswood, which we got approved, there's going to be 5 fans added to Kingswood greens, and there's a lot of electrical wire that has to be installed in that project. That's all got to be ordered as well. We're going to start that project in late February, hope to be done by the end of March. Another project we had was building a nursery green for Highlands. That was the only golf course that didn't have a nursery green. Greg has got that. He got all the soil removed. He's got the new greens mixed in. And he's hoping to seed the bent grass into that green the end of this month or potentially early March, just depending on how the weather is shaping up. And then one of the other projects we have this year, Scottsdale Driving Range Tee, we are in process there. If you guys have been over there, you'll see that Kyle and his crew have done a tremendous job limbing up and removing trees on that left-hand side, providing more sunlight to the driving range tee. And the MAC division has begun dirt work there. So what we're going to do is completely re-level that tee at a 100-foot by 16-foot or 16-foot deep by 100-foot wide concrete pad. There'll be 10 hitting mats, 10 stations, and there'll be plenty of room to walk behind those hitting stations on concrete. And then there'll be a concrete path down to the cul-de-sac there. We are going to be hauling in topsoil and concrete for the next 2 weeks, and although we have great weather, we've decided, so we don't put anyone in danger, we're going to keep Scottsdale closed while we haul those materials in, which is going to be on the golf course, down 18 likely, or past the putting green coming down the hill, depending on what and who's driving. And so we just want it, for safety reasons, we're going to leave that golf course closed until the material has been delivered on site, and then from there we could potentially open Scottsdale if weather allows, and Kyle will be making that call from what he sees. So that's my report. Do we have any questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah, these are 2 minor ones. Hole number 12 at Highlands, behind the green, they've put in some large rock, which is cleaning up a mud hole. But I've had questions, are people supposed to walk across that or around that new rock that's right behind the green?
So is it similar to like what we did behind 12 green, that little concrete, or it was a rock cutout where carts can actually pull onto? That was the design of that. Are we talking, did you say 12? Okay,
Yep.
So that's the design of that, is actually to pull a golf cart onto, to kind of get out of the way.
Okay.
That's why Greg did that. He actually did that during the, so we should.
But carts there and people can walk across it too?
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
The other thing was the culverts, we saw them putting those in today at Kingswood. The guys were not protected, and they're in the fairway, so someone really had to hit it hard, but there were like 4 or 5 vehicles and probably 6 or 7 guys unprotected. I don't know if there's a temporary net that can go up, or if you're not worried about it, but.
No, we have
seems like it's something.
we do have a net that we use during the irrigation repairs, and I'll make mention to Shane that we need to employ that moving forward, certainly if we're working in play, for sure. So, thank you.
That's it, thank you.
Anybody else?
I wanted to know if, you talk about taking down a lot of dead trees, were any of them strategic to a whole, or have you found any areas that in the past may have had a strategic tree that we've lost, and if so, any plans to replace them?
I have not noticed, I'm just trying to think of any that may have been strategic. Most of them have been kind of out to the side. Can you think of any there?
Yeah, so for instance, I do know one, that'll be on Highlands number 7 on the left. There's a bunker that was there way short at 220 yards out. Greg came to me and asked, do I need that bunker anymore? Because it's a waste of money, gets washed out. We went on, pulled the bunker out. Well, while they're pulling out, that tree that's right there on the side, those roots will just keep going. It wasn't doing well, so that moved out. It is not in play. It doesn't come into play. So there are a lot. Now, if we go back a couple of years ago, we've lost some on 13, 14 on the right side, that big one that went down. We talked about replacing it until we heard it was a couple $1,000 and to replace it, and that has not been replaced yet. But all your ones around the sides and everything are just here and there and off to the side, nothing in the main part of the course, as far as I know.
I think there are a couple that I can think of, like number 9 at Scottsdale. All those trees came down on the left, and that's made that whole play a lot differently, right, Bob? I mean, it's wide open now. It's a lot easier. And I think even the big tree that we lost on number 4 at Country Club on the left, that's made that hole a lot easier too by not being pinned in. So I think, even though these trees are off to the side, those were strategic trees, in my opinion, to make the course play a little bit more difficult. And I can think of those 2 in particular. There might be a few more that you guys could come up with.
At Kingswood, I think it's 11, the big tree right up by the green, it's gone. And that, I think, was actually kind of came into play.
Yeah, we can look at replanting trees, of course. As part of, in fact, that's one thing when I first got here, Dave, I know you had mentioned that, and then it's certainly something that we can do.
I think that's something, Ruth, maybe we think about in future budget items, because we've lost more trees than we've planted, for sure, in the last 10 years or so, and maybe it's time for us to start looking at replanting some trees and making our course a little bit more difficult. I mean, we're not going to try to make it too difficult, but a little bit more would be okay.
Photos that the architect used when he was planning the course, or architectural drawings that we could reference?
One thing we could do is go back on Google Earth is a good reference.
Okay.
A lot of times you can go back in the years, and they don't catch every year, but you can get every 3 or 4 years probably, and maybe see how things have changed over a period of time, certainly. Maybe that's that might be a good project for us to work on this year as we get into budget season for 2027.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else questions for Brian?
I just want to point out, you will be seeing the covers per car coming off Scottsdale, and as soon as people see the covers go off, they think it's opening. It's not, because of the work that's happening in the range. So just be aware of that. Right, Kyle? You are going to be taking off because it's warm. Yes. Take care of it. Just want to make everybody aware of that, and we will get phone calls.
And Brittany opens, tomorrow at noon, I believe, so we would, I'm sure Kyle would be ready to open Scottsdale if we weren't doing the driving range tee work. It's really just kind of a safety thing.
Do you have any anticipated amount of time?
Tentatively, planning on the 27th. There's an opportunity, if the weather aligns just right, potentially being, having all the material on the ground by the 20th. So we're gonna have to play that one by ear. Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah,
The
Graham-
other thing
oh, go ahead.
the other thing on the range part is, what about the safety of those people I mean, there's a ton of people walking
Right.
down there.
I know.
So we've got a problem with that if people are not paying attention to what's going on.
Right, yeah, that might need to go in the golf, I mean, I don't know how many of those people are looking at the golf update, but certainly, we can post signage, would be one thing.
Graham, I
Someone
want to
had-
just, I want to thank you and your staff. I mean, again, how great our courses have improved over just the last couple of years. And I think one of the things that I've really appreciated over the last couple of winters is coloring the fairways. I think that, I know it's helping from terms of getting the, you know, the spring grass to grow quicker. That's one thing, but aesthetically, it's beautiful. And it's great to see as you're driving down the road on 71 or whatever. And it seems like it's playing better. I don't know if it's just maybe your imagination on the color, but it doesn't seem like you need the mats as much. And maybe the grass has been a little bit longer in the way you guys have done that. But that has made a huge difference in the overall look of our courses. And then the playability, I think in the spring, we're gonna notice it again.
I would agree, I don't know what's happening there, but it doesn't seem to be kind of really getting beat down like it typically does. I have no explanation for that, but.
Okay, anything else for Graham? Now we'll move into Daryl.
All right, with that said, let's get through the report for January. We finished at 5,566 rounds. That's up by 3,000 from the previous year. So it was a good start to the year. I just want to point out, with 3,000 rounds, with 5,566 played in January, when I calculated it out and when the courses were closed, we were closed for 13 days due to cold weather and snow. So we made bank when it was open, and Alex and I were talking earlier, when it was open, it was warm. I mean, we had 70 degrees early January, but by the end of January, we ended up with snow and minus degrees. So it was good to be open. Our member rounds ended at 4,457. That's 2,400 up from last year. Guest rounds at 1,100. That was up by 600. And you'll see on my report, I've put the cave bookings on there. That's 114 bookings. Somebody asked me, is that all that played? I said, no, that's one booking. That's a tee time. You can have up to 6 people. On average, we get 4 almost every time on there. So it's 114 bookings times 4 people. That's a fair amount of people playing. I also want to point out, it's booked 10 days out. I had a gentleman come in, I was in there, and he goes, this is ridiculous, I can't get a booking on the cave. And I said, when were you booking for? Well, I want it tomorrow. And I'm like, there's snow on the ground, so there's no way you got to book 10 days out. He goes, well, we need 5 of these things. I said, yeah, it's great now, but when summer comes and it's not utilized, it's a different deal. So the cave has been a great success, and it will continue to be a great success. I've seen all sorts of games played on it. And with the bar being there too, I think a lot of our membership are really enjoying it. So great success on that part. And I will include the cave booking throughout this so everybody can kind of see what's happening at the cave down there. The range, when it's open and doesn't have snow on the ground, the bucket's 3,123. That's up by 2,378 over last year. I just want to say that Tanya Creek wasn't open last year. It only opened in April, so we just had Highlands. So that's kind of a good sign on my rounds report. So it was busy when it's open, and this month, once we opened, it's been a bang. We have been busy, and that's great. Yes, Dave.
Daryl, I know that the cave is obviously a very popular thing. Is there any consideration, and is there any cost analysis of what it might do to add another simulator in there and maybe decrease the size of the pro shop part a little bit? I don't know.
There
if
is.
it's
When we
all been
built it,
considered.
when we built it, there was a couple sides we could do and structure on. We didn't know how successful it was going to be. That's a big overhead. Our pro shop still brings in a lot of money through the year. And that's kind of what we got to look
Okay.
at. So as we go into this, we're not even a year under our belt.
Yep.
So April comes up, we'll look at it, we'll watch another year, and then we'll do a cost
Okay,
analysis.
that's great.
analysis and
I
go
mean,
from
I know you're looking at it, and that's
Yep.
great, that's wonderful, because I know members are loving the cave, and, you know, and I think it's been great, and it won't be used as much in the summer, we know that, but it's still good to, you know, work on your game a little bit, swing speed, it does a lot of things for you besides just playing when it's cold weather.
Sure, agreed. All right, moving on, I got a couple announcements. One of the things is the group expo that we've had every year. Well, we had it way back. If we go way back, I'll give a little bit of history. We used to have the golf expo down at, it used to be Redden Hall, now the rec center. And we used to have sales, and we used to buy stuff for $10 and sell it to the membership for $1. Well, that business plan didn't work so good. So we kind of changed it up. When Leslie joined us, she changed up all the pro shops, so merchandise wasn't part of it. As that happened, we saw the expo kind of dying a little bit. And it's for the groups. It's not for the POA, but it's for the golf groups. Then COVID hit us. So COVID was another deal. We didn't have any group gatherings. That was all good. We brought it back 2 years ago, and it was a fair amount of participation, but we had more group leaders there than anything. And then the other thing we found out is people were showing up to purchase stuff. And they're like, why can't I buy golf clubs? Why can't I do this? And I said, well, you can from Tanya Creek or wherever. Well, no, I'm not going to pay that amount of money. I want them at a bargain. Well, that's not what the expo is for the golf groups to sign up new membership is what it is. So once that kind of got out there, this last year in 2025, it wasn't a good showing. We had more golf group leaders there visiting and having drinks and eating cookies and having a great time, and that was great. It's a lot to put on, and the cost was kind of out there. So we made a management decision, no expo this year. We love our groups. Our groups are super important to us. We still will be doing the golf group book. So if any group leaders want to get in that golf book, Nathan sent it out already. Get up. That is a digital book. And us pros, the golf shops, we always promote groups. Whenever somebody comes in, even back to the new membership, we promote golf groups. So when they come into golf operations and I come new to the area, I want to know what's going on. Where's the golf deal? And I'll turn around and go, here's the group book, click on here, have a look at it. When do you want to play? You can play any day of the week. So the expo's gonna not be this year. We'll see how it goes, but the golf group book is out there. Utilize it, and we will promote from within and see how that goes. So it's just a management decision, lots of work for no bang for the buck. I spoke to a lot of group leaders. They had no signups, a couple here or there, and that was about it. So that's one thing that is happening, but that golf group book is phenomenal. So that's kind of where we are. And that's all I got for my report.
Have all golf group leaders been informed?
Yes, if they want to get in the book. And what I'm finding over the years is the groups are full. A lot of them are full and they don't have room. So they don't need anything. Or if from word of mouth they get into the golf groups, and you got to know somebody to get in it. So why advertise it for nobody, you know? So there's that happening as well. But if your group leader wants to be in the book, Nathan's got it. The day, the time, the connect, who to contact, what they even play for, and the games they play. There's a lot of information on there for new people.
Go ahead.
If I could ask one question about Tanyard, this was posed to me, that the opening time at Tanyard. So online it says it closes at 6 o'clock, but the bar stays open till 9.
Correct.
So in the summer, is the driving range gonna close at 6 and the bar stay open, or what is the time change and what?
We close the range because we've got to pick it and do stuff. At 6, you can get your last bucket. So like right now, it goes according to sunset. So we're watching that sunset and those days. So like, say for instance, I might be wrong on this. I was there yesterday, but I didn't pay attention to the time. The last bucket might go out at 4:20 right now. So at 5 o'clock, get the last ball, we're gonna pick the tees up, we get everybody off into safety, man. It's for safety. We don't have floodlights out there. You can putt and chip all you want. When summer comes around, last year, it was 6 o'clock, your last bucket, giving the people time from work to get home, hit their last bucket, hit your golf balls, because a bucket can last some people an hour, two, depending who it is, and that's kind of what it is. We still got to be done by dark, pick up, clean up, and everything to get ready for the next day. It's not a Top Golf, it's one of the things. So it changes, to answer your question, that last bucket is handed out at a different time. 6 o'clock is the last bucket. The range can stay open. You can go chip and putt and do all that stuff and hang out. And we have people coming in there and getting their buckets.
Simulators or?
Simulators, 9 o'clock. It closes at 9. Simulator stays open the bar hours. So your last tee time is 6:30, 6:40, somewhere around there. 9 o'clock, and it stays busy. Yep. You're welcome.
Any other questions for Daryl? Thank you, Daryl. Alex?
All right, good to be back.
Good to have you.
The 2026 golf calendar is out. I gave you guys just kind of a little one-pager, just so you'd have something to reference on. Everything that you see here is already loaded onto our website. You just go to the golf page, there's a tournament page there. There's also a lessons and programs page we'll get to in just a second. But for the most part, it's a very similar looking tournament calendar to the one that we had last year. A few dates have changed, maybe by a couple of weeks here and there. Maybe searching for a little bit of better weather or trying to spread out some of our offerings just a little bit more than we had before. But everything there is listed. Nothing is ready for registration just yet. Our policy is to try to get registration up between 2 months and 6 weeks out, kind of depending on the event. So the first event there, which is be the Shot in the Dark, that'll be coming out here pretty soon since we're getting close to those days. And we're essentially starting just a hair later in the season. We've had a March event the last few years that really we've just struggled with some weather on, so we've moved that back to May. That's the 3-person tournament. But everything else will be released on Fridays. That's our general time frame for getting registration open. We'll release it at the same time we do the golf update each Friday. So be looking for that. As soon as you see that out there, it'll be free to sign up. So for our instruction programs, I've got several things listed. We've got our junior golf camps. We've got all of our Operation 36 golf instruction pages. Most of those are already ready for sign-ups. We've got all of our spring and summer offering for men's and ladies and juniors already up online, ready for registration at this time. And there's a few things not listed. We've got some couples instructional things that we'll get up here pretty soon. As Hannah was speaking, she's got a lot of things going on with her Futures Academy, with her toddlers and Intro to Golf. I think she's got some homeschool things that we're just waiting on some times and days for her to finish up on. But yeah, we think it's a very good offering for this year. Hopefully we get good weather for everything. We struggled with a couple events just with weather last year, so hopefully we get a little bit lucky with all that. But any questions?
Yeah, the high school tournaments in the fall, when will those be announced, and what are the, you know what the
Well,
dates are?
we won't have any like state tournaments. There's not like a state high school tournament. Everything we have will just be kind of a one-day, one-shot gun. Usually I think they're at 1 o'clock for most of the schools we have, and there'll be several just kind of going around the village.
So I'm kind of with the high schools, everything, we are reducing the high schools. Over the years, we used to have quite a few, but as our membership is demanding more tee times, I've gone to the coaches and said, look, guys, you know, we've got people coming from Siloam and Fayetteville coming over here to play golf because we are the best gig in town. We're going to have to go on and limit that. We will support our schools within our school district, which is super important. Shotguns, we will be doing away with shotguns, doing tee times, which will help free it up. If you do a shotgun, some people don't realize you got to block everything in front of the shotgun to get them out on the course. So we're going to be very tee sheet orientated for due diligence to get our membership out there. So as far as state, we probably will still have a district. I'm not sure yet, but they meet beginning or end of this month, beginning of next month, turn dates in. We do have 2 schools, local schools, that have already submitted their dates, and we'll work around that. But as far as actual state, I don't think it's gonna happen this year. I think it's gonna go back down to South Arkansas, is what I've been told.
Anything else for Alex? Anything else, Alex? Okay. Tom? Sounds good? Bob?
I already asked my question.
You've already asked your question, okay, and the other two are not here. Okay, do we have any emails? How about out here? Anybody would like to visit with us?
Yeah, I got
Come on up, you got 3 minutes to visit with us.
Sure enough.
Introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Mike Rudetsky, 6 foot, 180, first time caller.
I didn't catch that.
Hi, nice to see you. Compliment to Dogwood and the Greens. Fantastic. I heard something earlier. I mean, they're true, they're quick, but at this time of year, are you kidding me? They're awesome. Love them to death. Question is, how do we get the rest of the bent grass to go that way? Is it equipment? Is it construction? Is it drainage? What is it? What can be done?
You know, so we have a superintendent at each golf course, and so everyone is, you know, managing their area, you know, with the number one focus being keeping everything alive, right? Make sure the greens are alive. So I think over time, you know, we track data pretty extensively, and so we've seen everything trending better in the last 2 years.
yeah.
However, I mean, to get everything right to Dogwood, I mean, everyone has to get comfortable enough to do that. So there's going to take time in order for everything to kind of, I would just say, you know, as our superintendents continue to improve, you should see, you know, better conditions everywhere. And they've certainly done a great job, at least in the almost 2 years I've been here, improving their properties.
I've seen them get better year over year for the last few years. Tee times, this is more of a tech thing. Is there an opportunity for walkers to check a box and flag, so say, hey, I'm walking, you know, along the lines of all the, you know, with shotguns that we have on the weekends and things like that, not asking for a specific starting hole, but I have called here, I've called every course that I walk and say, hey, I'm walking, so is my group, can we get a convenient starting hole, you know, versus hole 13 or 14 or whatever. So if is there a way on when you're booking ahead of time and you know that it's a shotgun, can you just check the box that says my group's walking? So then it would flag the clubhouse when they're setting the starting holes.
There is not on our tee sheet. Yeah, I hear you, Mike, and I know your group is one that does have walkers, and my pros will try to do it. The problem is that tee sheet is never set until 30 minutes before the tee time.
Yeah, that's why I'm used to calling ahead.
So our system won't allow that for that reason, because it all changes, people move, people don't show, everything happens. A group leader will turn around and go, I'm moving this around, I got this happening. So the best thing for your group is to reach out to the pro like you're doing, to work with the pro to see what we can do. But you just got to advise, we try not to show favoritism, because, you know, I know everybody wants to start on number one.
This gets everybody off the hook for showing favoritism by saying, hey, they're a walker, you know, we don't want them to have to walk out to 13 to start.
Totally get it. Well, you shouldn't hold up the course. So you can, if you've all checked in and your group's good, you can head out earlier. We do that at high schools. They get out earlier to the hole, and then they start at that time. Yes, it is a walk, but
No,
you
but
chose.
we choose to walk, yeah.
You choose to walk, and the deal is everybody wants to start at number one, and that's always a problem, right, Alex?
Well, I mean, I'm good with 2, I'm good with 18, I'm good with. And then lastly, the trees, you know, you're right, Kingswood has had a few trees taken out. I could think of 9, the dead tree on the left. It did provide protection from cutting the corner. Now, even with my short tee shots from the white tees, I'm able to drop it to about 90. So for me, that's pretty good, but I'm cutting the corner. So, you know, whereas before I couldn't do that, I would find myself up on the hill on 10th green typically. But, you know, just, you know, that's a tree that we missed. And then the other tree on 11, yeah, I get that, and I can understand why it's coming out, because the roots would drag away all the moisture from the grass. You have a dead area there. Strong suggestion to be putting in like a wild grass area to protect the path, keep the balls in play, or, take a penalty from the tall grass. But that way you get the fairway back. Anyways, that's it. That's all I had from the Natty group. They're averaging 38 years old, and they're growing. In the club, I brought them up from 36 to 38 when I joined, and they're growing, and we have about 105 members signed up right now, of which 48 are pretty active. The plan is to have about 60 active players every weekend, every week. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Anyone else? We appreciate you coming. Old business, I don't have any at this time. Anybody else think of any old business? They didn't report it, so. New business. It has come to our attention that we needed to look at the possibility of carts on or off the path on par threes. We're gonna talk to Daryl and to Graham here briefly and get their input before we start. But we also have to remember that the handicap flags are allowed on several of the holes, so we need to keep that in mind as we go. So Daryl, do you wanna put a
Yeah,
opinion in?
I just want to share some stuff, and I'll give my opinion, and Alex can weigh in too, but Graham's got some stuff too. We got to look at this as a big whole, because once you open this, it could lead to a lot of other things. So first of all, the reason par threes, a lot of our par threes, I went back to each one, and just a little bit over 50% of them are unsafe to drive because of slopes. I mean, who wants to drive off number 2 here at Country Club? I know we have lots of destroyed golf carts, but that's an example. So if you have a look at that, safety is our number 1 issue. We've also got bunkers right in front of them too, and the slope of some of them that are permissible to drive for a handicapped person, those carts get pretty steep on the slope. So we got to be careful once we open them up. Can we control it? Because if we say par threes are drivable, but these holes are not, what's going to happen? We have the same issue on that part, is policing the aged handicap flags getting too close to the green. So you've got that happening. I did another report, I reached out, and 92% of the golf courses in the United States are keep your carts on path on par threes. And I said, what about the other 8%? Well, the other 8% are courses like the Blessings that really have 6,000 rounds per year, and you pay for that, so they can go wherever they want. That's kind of where it is, and that's where it is. So it's a very small percentage it out. Some of them are in the deserts where it is very flat, and they've got that natural rock area that they want you to drive on. So that's kind of where it is, and the biggest thing is enforcing it. It's a one-shot hole. You hit it up there, you should be getting close enough. Where you're chipping, we should be parking close to the green and just walking. So that is my little research that I did that was brought to it end of last year. I know Graham's got some stuff on that, and then you got Alex's input as a PGA professional as well.
Yeah, really just from our standpoint, it's obviously when you're concentrating a lot of cart traffic into a small area, we're going to really struggle to keep quality turf in those areas. So from our standpoint, that's the biggest concern. Obviously, safety as well, but we're gonna struggle with the amount of play we do here, and then the small areas that all the golf carts are going to be traversing if we do this.
Yeah, pretty much just piggybacking on what each of you said. My main concern would be, if you take carts off the path, just by and large for par threes, you're going to get people going in a lot of places where they don't have any business with a golf cart. I'm thinking of a couple at Highlands, a couple on Brittany for sure, that, if you say carts are off the path, then people are going to take advantage of that. I can just see someone driving around to the other side of number 9 green at Highlands or something like that. But, and just by and large, there's not very many golf courses that you play that carts are allowed off the path. So I think there's just a good reason behind that. The landing zone is just too small and you don't want that much car traffic in there, if you can help it.
When I put together the chart that I sent to everybody, anything over 100 yards, about 85% of those are blue flag anyway. So it's not that we're limiting, and the blue flag situation is anyone over 80 years of age or has a handicap card or sticker with it, and they are allowed to come in and get a blue flag permit, stay 30 feet away from the greens and the tee boxes, and they measure it, technically measure it in the golf pro shops so that everybody knows what that distance looks like. Sometimes when you see it on the course, I'm not sure they remember what it looks like, but in most cases they do. And I struggle to see how, personally, how opening to par threes with carts can benefit us. I think it's going to be a nightmare to try to monitor. So that's my personal opinion, so go ahead.
Well, I think it's a safety issue, and I think it's not something that we should entertain, mostly for the safety of our people. I'm thinking on number 12 and number 15 at Scottsdale.
Yeah.
You better put up a thing, you must be this tall to ride this ride. Because, you know, you're that's dangerous if you let them off the path there. And it's already kind of a nice ride even on the path. So I'm against it. I think, Ruth, what you saying, you know, that handicap flags are allowed on certain par threes, is that correct?
Yes.
And I think those people with the handicap flags know which ones they can or cannot go on. And I think that's good enough. I mean, we're not doing it on the 4s and the 5s. And, you know, Brittany, you bring up a good point. I mean, there's a lot of par 3s on Brittany. I just think we'd be opening up a huge can of worms if we allow that to happen.
I agree. I worry more about just the liability of somebody getting hurt. Wow, that scares me just a little bit, because they're already driving where they don't need to be. And if somebody tips a cart over or something, just being where they're shallow, it's just not enough room. That's my worry.
Anyone else want to bring it in? I don't know that we need a formal vote. I think if we have consensus that this is not something that we want to endorse, would that be sufficient enough? Or do you want to vote? Okay. Let's vote those who, let's just put a proposal out there, or a motion out there. We do not support opening par threes to carts. Except for blue flags. Except for blue flags.
I'll second that.
Okay, and all those, okay, and I have not talked to Brad, so he's doing that too. Okay, so unanimous. I just think it's a safety issue that we don't want to get into. Okay. Anything else for new business that we have not talked about? It's good to see everybody back. Our next golf meeting will be March 11th on Wednesday at 4 o'clock here in the boardroom. And if there's nothing else, we stand adjourned.